All right, let's dive right in. We're talking about something that can quietly poison any relationship: hidden resentment. This isn't the big, loud fight that ends things in a flash. No, this is the silent saboteur. It's that unspoken frustration that just simmers under the surface and that can totally corrode a connection, sometimes before you even have a clue what's going on. I mean, we've all been there, right? You're talking to someone and they're smiling, saying all the right things, but your gut just clenches. That feeling? That's your brain picking up on a massive disconnect between their words and their body language. In this explainer, we're going to learn how to actually listen to that instinct by spotting the specific signs. So, here's the key difference. Open conflict is pretty obvious. It's like a thunderstorm, loud, impossible to miss. But resentment? That's more like sediment. It builds up, layer by tiny layer, from all the unresolved issues, the unspoken expectations, and all those little moments that made someone feel slighted. It's quiet, it's masked, and that's exactly what makes it so hard to spot, and so dangerous. So, let's get into our first set of clues. You see, a person can try their best to put on a happy face, but the body just doesn't lie. Psychologists have a great term for this: emotional leaks. These are these tiny, involuntary flashes of real feeling that just sneak past a person's conscious control. Even when someone's smiling, these leaks are telling the true story. Now, this is really fascinating. Let's compare a real smile, what's called a Duchenne smile, with a resentful one. A genuine smile engages the whole face. You see it in the eyes, they crinkle at the corners, the cheeks lift up. But a resentful smile, that's pretty much just a mouth thing. Look closer next time. Are their eyes kind of hard and glassy? Is their jaw tight? That tension is the physical evidence of an emotion they're trying to suppress. A lot of these emotional leaks pop up as micro-expressions, and we're talking about facial movements that are incredibly fast, like less than half a second. They're basically a blink and you'll miss it flash of the person's unfiltered true emotion before they can slap their social mask back on. And out of all of them, this is the one you really need to watch for. If you ever see a quick, one-sided lip curl, basically a sneer that flashes for just a millisecond before they smile, you're looking at contempt. It's a really toxic emotion that signals a feeling of superiority. It means that underneath all the polite words, they're actually looking down on you. And beyond that sneer, keep an eye out for these other physical tells. A jaw that suddenly clenches right when you share some good news, they are literally biting back their real reaction. Lips that press together so tightly they almost disappear, they are physically holding back angry words. A quick little nose wrinkle signals disgust. And that subtle little eye roll, that's just pure dismissiveness, a sign they think what you're saying isn't even worth their time. Okay, so we've covered the body's silent signals. But what happens when that resentment starts leaking into their actions and their words? Now we're moving into the behavioral red flags. This is all about verbal and behavioral sabotage. It's how hidden anger gets things done without ever having to be direct. And the main tool they use is, you guessed it, passive aggression. It's the go-to tactic for someone who's angry, but is either unwilling or just too afraid to say it out loud. They want to stick it to you, but they want to do it in a way where they can always say, "Who, me? I didn't do anything." It's all about plausible deniability. And one of the most masterful passive-aggressive weapons has to be the backhanded compliment. It's literally an insult gift-wrapped as praise. It's perfectly designed to make you feel kind of crummy and confused, while the person who said it gets to act like they were just being nice. And this is a perfect example of that. I mean, on the surface, it sounds like a compliment, right? But that little tag on at the end, for someone with your education level, completely guts the praise. It's a calculated jab meant to put you in your place, all while they maintain this fake facade of support. It's pure, sugar-coated hostility. And of course, if you actually get offended by their jab, this is what you'll hear. They immediately flip it on you. They claim it was just a joke, and then they question your reaction. It's a classic gaslighting move. They make your totally valid feeling the problem, not their original passive-aggressive comment. Resentment also shows up in these patterns. It's not just what people say, it's what they do, or more often, what they don't do. Forgetting to do something you asked, doing a task really poorly on purpose, giving you the silent treatment, or forgetting to tell you some key piece of information. These are all ways to frustrate you and mess things up without ever having to have a direct fight. So we've seen the what, the physical tells, the sneaky sabotage. But to really get a handle on this, we need to talk about the why. Why does this kind of resentment even start? What's going on under the hood, psychologically? Well, a huge driver is something called the reciprocity gap. Think about it. Relationships are built on a sense of fairness. But when one person starts to feel like they're the one always putting in more effort, more planning, more emotional support, a gap opens up. They feel like the scales are totally out of balance. And this is the toxic result. That person starts keeping score. They collect this mental folder of tiny receipts. Every favor they did that went unnoticed, every time they felt unappreciated. The relationship stops being a partnership and turns into this running tally of who owes who. At the end of the day, resentment almost always grows from these common roots. It's usually about needs that were never communicated, so they were never met. It's about arguments that got swept under the rug instead of actually being dealt with. And sometimes, it has less to do with you and more to do with them, their own insecurities, where your success just shines a spotlight on what they feel they're lacking. Okay, so recognizing the signs is half the battle. But what do we actually do about it? Let's get into the game plan. This is all about giving you some clear, actionable strategies you can use to handle this behavior and, most importantly, protect your own peace of mind. So here it is, a pretty simple 4-step framework. We start with just recognizing the problem and move all the way to actively shielding yourself from it. So, acknowledge, set boundaries, disengage, and prioritize. Let's break them down. First things first, and this is maybe the most crucial step. Trust yourself. That gut feeling we talked about at the very beginning, that's real. Stop brushing it aside. Acknowledge that you're seeing a consistent pattern of behavior, not just a one-off bad day. Just validating your own experience is the first step toward getting your peace back. Next up, you have to set some firm boundaries. Now, this isn't about trying to control the other person. It's about you defining what you will and will not tolerate. The trick is to communicate your boundary without blaming them. So instead of, "You're always making sarcastic jokes," you could try, "I feel hurt when jokes are made at my expense." You're just reporting how you feel, which is a lot harder to argue with. But what if they keep pushing past your boundaries? That's when you move to step 3, disengage emotionally. There's a powerful technique for this called the gray rock method. Basically, you make yourself as boring and uninteresting as a gray rock. You give short, factual answers. You don't take the bait. Passive aggression feeds on getting a reaction out of you. If you don't give them one, you essentially starve the behavior. And that brings us to the final step, which is all about you. You have to prioritize your own well-being. Look, you only have so much emotional energy. You get to choose where to invest it. So, make a conscious choice to spend more time and effort on the people in your life who are supportive, who are reciprocal, the ones that actually make you feel good, not the ones who leave you feeling drained and anxious all the time. So, I'll leave you with this question to think about. Just take a second and do a quick mental scan of the people you interact with. Which ones fill your cup up and which ones leave you feeling empty? The answer to that question, well, that's your roadmap to protecting your peace.